Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are the hosts of the I Don't Think So podcast. Each episode, we discuss a different story, theory, or mystery and decide if we think it is believable or if we really don't think so.
Here at the I Don't Think So podcast, we are affiliated with Flurry Sports. And we present our theories, mysteries, and things on your favorite place to listen to podcasts every single Wednesday. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a like and a share. And go ahead and follow us on X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, or Threads at I Don't Think So _EH.
Excellent. We're rounding out week 3 of our spooky, scary skeleton season.
Yeah. Look at all those S's.
Just gonna jump into the song.
Scary skeleton.
Copyright issue. I don't know how that works.
It's a cover. We're fine.
But anyway. We have been talking about haunted places all month long, and I have another haunted place for you. And I decided to keep it kind of local.
Oh, excited.
And look for haunted places in Wisconsin. There was a lot of like haunted places in the Chippewa Valley region too.
Sure.
But I decided to go with what is noted as one of the most haunted places in Wisconsin.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So
it means we could eventually go there. I don't know if I want to, but we could.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to, but you'll listen, you'll hear. Anyway, This is called the Summerwind Mansion in Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin.
Love the butter.
And it's noted as the most haunted place in Wisconsin. So the Summerwind Mansion was built as a fishing lodge in the early 1900s and then remodeled in 1916 by Robert Lamont, who would go to be the U.S. Secretary of Commerce under Herbert Hoover. Okay.
The Lamont name sounds familiar, but I don't know if it's from that or if it's from something else.
Probably from that, because he has like a legacy within politics and around Wisconsin and stuff too.
Okay.
He had money.
Money. Must be funny. In
a
rich man's world. Sorry. ABBA.
It is a man's world.
Oh, we should just do a song quiz.
Anyway, legends state, however, that the mansion has been haunted from the start, but the Lamonts disregarded the whispers among like wait staff about strange noises and events and decided to buy the mansion anyway. So, Mr. Lamont allegedly hired 2 architects from Chicago to remodel the home after he purchased it. Lamont had fallen completely in love with the property, and he hoped that he and his family would be happy there for like many years to come, but their happiness was short-lived.
Not shocked.
Some legends speculate that the construction work did more than just revitalize the house, and that it revitalized the spirits within it as well. It was late in the evening, and the family had all settled down for the night, and Lamont was walking through the house when a spirit appeared before him, some sort of vision, and the ghost terrified Mr. Lamont, and he ended up being so trembling and terrified that he pulled out his pistol and shot at the apparition twice because he was so afraid.
Oh, good Lord.
And legends claim that Mr. Lamont was so frightened by the incident that he no longer felt safe in the mansion. He woke up his wife, his children, and they packed their necessities in the car, and they left that night, leaving everything else behind. Regardless of the financial losses, he had no ambition to return back to the house.
I mean, I feel like you always hear with ghost stories, like people, remodel old homes or whatever, and that's when it all gets like a whole hell of a lot worse.
Exactly. So, following that, the mansion was in...
Sorry, we had a guest appearance from Bloody Dan there.
He was scooting through the house.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, the house kind of transferred through multiple owners until eventually the Lamont Mansion was purchased by Arnold and Ginger Hinshaw, and the couple quickly moved in, along with Ginger's father, Raymond Bober. And he lived on the property kind of at the edge in like a trailer. So he didn't live in the house, but he still lived on the property itself.
Oh,
And everything seemed to be really happy. They thought the house was beautiful. They had no issues.
nice.
However, eventually, Arnold and Ginger decided to begin renovations on the house to update it. According to it, the legend again surrounding the house, they searched quite extensively for contractors and offered fabulous sums of money, but nobody was willing to even enter the house to look at it, let alone work on it, because of the issues with spirits in the past. For 6 months, the couple kept continuing to look, and eventually their like different psychic phenomena led them to no end that they ended up trying to move out of the house. So they remained there for a while, and many strange things began to occur. The ghost of a man clad in 18th century clothes began wandering through the house at night. The Hinshaws would hear the sound of his footsteps outside their room. They would hear him opening and closing doors. And it seemed the Phantom loved the Lamont Mansion and also called it home. Raymond Bober, so Ginger's father, often encountered the spirit over throughout the property as well. And over time, he began to suspect that the spirit had once been a man named Jonathan Carver. Carver was a colonial explorer and writer who had traversed a lot of Wisconsin, especially in that area. And the King of England had offered the man Carver a large amounts of money to anybody who discovered the main waterways through Wisconsin, and particularly ones that led to the Pacific Ocean. So, despite the fact that Jonathan Carver successfully explored and documented a large portion of the Mississippi River, his efforts were never recognized nor rewarded by Parliament. So he was very upset about it.
Same.
Beyond this Carver incident, they also had lots of other documented issues with spirits. Voices coming from empty rooms, doors and windows opening and closing on their own, the ghost of a woman walking around. A corpse was discovered in a closet, but then when they went back, it was vanished.
Ew.
And again, Carver searching through the Wisconsin land deed that he had considered that he'd founded. Eventually, Raymond Bober grew convinced after Carver's death that the spirit remained here on the property. Over time, the frequency in which the ghost visited the mansion began to take a toll on the Hinshaw family. Arnold and Ginger found that they couldn't sleep at night, fearful that Carver's ghost would appear behind every corner. Fear overtook their lives, and unable to cope, it said that Arnold suffered a complete nervous breakdown while in the house. Sick with horror and dread, Ginger also attempted to kill herself while living at Lamont.
Oh, stuff.
And then finally, in 1979, Raymond Bober broke his silence about what had happened at the house. He published a book under the guise of Wolfgang von Bober, entitled it The Carver Effect, A Paranormal Experience. And he talked about Jonathan Carver as the primary ghost that lived on the property, and explained that the house itself had supernatural abilities, including that he would claim that he would enter different dimensions within the house as he changed rooms. And it appeared that his appearance was starting to become drastically different from living at this house. Eventually, Summerwind was also abandoned after only 6 months of occupation from the Hinshaws. So they lived there for 6 months and couldn't take it anymore.
Jesus.
The mansion people were trying to then restore it later after lots of things being cut down in the 1970s, but they eventually gave up on it in the city and attracted a lot of like teenagers and vandalism and things like that.
Party goers.
Eventually,
Youths.
the mansion burned to the ground in 1988,
Oh.
leaving only its old stone foundation and the towering chimneys. The cause of the fire was said to be a lightning strike to the house, but some suspect it was intentionally set ablaze to deter visitors drawn by the haunted legends.
Okay. Fair.
Although the structure was almost completely destroyed by the fire in 1988, the paranormal activity continues. Some claim the place is sort of like a beacon of how it inexplicably attracts supernatural beings and events. Visitors have told of a strong sense of someone or something hovering around them, orbs and floating mists showing up later in photos taken on the site. Audio recorders picking up voices and sounds not heard by the human ear. So they've had ghost hunters there.
Sure.
From different shows and things like that, and they found evidence as to what the ghost hunters have said of hearing voices, seeing apparitions, things like that.
I mean, not to be rude, but can you imagine being a ghost hunter and it's like, I'll be by the chimney, you go by the other bricks over there.
I know.
Like, just out in wilderness.
So that kind of leaves what's left of the story. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have heard of this thing. It's called like landlines or something like that. Not landlines like the phone, but like there's like these supposed to be, I'm gonna mess this up, but like energy lines within the crust of the earth, like magnetic lines and things like that, where when they intersect,
that's where like these haunted places are.
It seems like more of these like very paranormal, very much like almost this beacon, like you were saying, of places seem to pop up and arise. And so I'm curious to see if like there's like some weird magnetic difference at this place, or it's like the energy there is just overall different, and that's why it might be easier to experience like the veil kind of fitting.
Sure.
Between like dead and alive. I do find it very interesting that like Bobber was just like, or Bobble.
Bobber.
Like the fishing thing.
Or Bober. I don't know.
Bober. Anyway. That he was like, yeah, that man, I think it's Carver.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like how he looks like anymore.
No, they said he looked like.
But didn't they say he changed?
No, like Raymond said his physical appearance changed from being in the house.
Oh, well, of course. Listen, your physical health is so tied to your mental health. Usually when one goes to hell, the other kind of follows. So if you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you are constantly worried and anxious, of course you're going to have a nervous breakdown. Of course your physical appearance is going to change.
Yeah.
Like, no one can live in constant fear and like thrive. Hate to break it to you.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've said in previous episodes, I completely think that, like, I believe that there's a sense that people can feel people from the afterlife or see these haunted experiences. So I completely agree that it's been haunted. And I think the fact that like 2 documented families have tried to like renovate this place and then had like complete mental breakdowns,
right,
shows a trend.
Something's wrong. And whether that's like spiritual, also maybe these spirits are really like eat the rich, you know, because
it's a nice house.
It's a beautiful mansion and they're like, I bought it outright and now I have this massive property, and the spirits are like, haha,
right,
I've trapped you, if only you were poor. I don't know, I fully believe that like with all these documented things happening, and then it's not just like the first family who moved in was like the only people who said it was haunted.
Also,
like
none of these contractors wanting to go there. The fact that originally the Lamonts had to hire people from Chicago to come up and work there, and then these other people trying to get renovations done couldn't find anybody to go up there.
Kind of makes you wonder like what's going on in Land O'Lakes. Besides the butter.
Besides the milk.
The milk and butter. That's such a Wisconsin thing. For those of you who are not from Wisconsin, Land O'Lakes is like a brand of butter here.
And milk.
And milk.
Dairy products.
True. Anything like that. But I just wonder if there's like something going on just like with the land in and of itself where it's like, yeah, that magnetic pole where there's enough energy for things to manifest, to kind of break through the veil, or the veil or whatever is a little bit thinner. I don't know. I just think like once is a coincidence, you know, or once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, 30 times is a pattern, you know.
Sure.
And for so many people to be like,
no,
I've heard
because
shit.
Even before the Lamonts moved in, the workers that work there were like, you don't want to buy this.
I don't think you are going to enjoy this place. So it's like, you know, if the first time it's just like a couple people who, you know, you get a little bit in the panic, right? Like one person says, you know, this place is creepy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, when the lights go out and I hear the creaking of this old house, it is creepy.
But when I can put all this money into fixing it, all's well. And then it's like, haha, instead, I'll just haunt you.
What if you get haunted?
Yeah.
No, I think that's super cool. There's a lot of books, and I'm sure it's for every state, but like, I own a couple books that are definitely like haunted places in Wisconsin, and I always like skim through to see like if our town was in there, and it is, but it's like,
I know.
oh,
When I googled haunted places of Wisconsin, Google's like obviously going to show you like the
the
local
ones
places. So it's
right
like
here.
Mount Hill, and I'm like, we're gonna pass.
I've been there, heard it, done it. Check. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have for the first part.
Oh, that's so exciting. Well, good one. Good tie back to good old Wisconsin.
Somewhere in Wisconsin.
A cab. Somehow he rhymed cabin and Wisconsin.
What you gonna do?
No, it's mansion. Jesus. Oh. Maybe T-Pain was gonna
The
put
Summerfield Mansion?
you in the Summerwind Mansion. He hates you. Let me
Whoa.
put you in a mansion somewhere in Wisconsin.
What you gonna do?
That's fine.
Other than Pennsylvania. Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh, good. Well, this next section is kind of our free-for-all section. Call it what you will, call it what you want. It's a little bit of our time to just go off on tangents. Last season, oh God, my life.
Mm-hmm.
And we are, third week into our spooky season episodes. And so I thought Hannah and I could talk about literally my favorite topic in the whole wide world. And that is food.
Perfect.
So I thought we could do a little bit of a draft. Again, going back to our homage of Flurry Sports draft. And we will go back and forth. Top 3 fall desserts.
Ugh.
I'm telling you, I thought about this for far too long.
Like, not like it has to be number 1, but just like 3 things we'd want to pick.
Yes. And I can't pick
what you pick. Okay. 3 things?
3. But you go once, and then I go once, and then you go once, and then I go once. Back and forth.
Okay.
I'll let you go first, because I have had so much time to think about it.
Okay, so the first one is not necessarily, I mean, it's dessert, but it's like technically not dessert. It's like breakfast, but it's like dessert because of how sweet it is.
Sure.
I have this recipe for caramel apple cinnamon rolls.
Oh.
And they're like the best thing ever. So I think that has to be my number 1.
That does sound really good.
Delish. It's like
Feel free to share the recipe on our Twitter.
Oh, I will. It's so good. You make your own caramel sauce? Mwah, love.
Oh. This is gonna be great.
Apples.
I know.
Well, the thing is, we might not overlap it very much because I don't like pumpkin.
I know, and that's why I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have to steal one of yours.
Make it interesting.
The worst.
Okay, what's your first one?
My first one is apple crisp.
Oh,
We're making some right now, and I was so excited because honestly, nothing beats like a warm cinnamon apple crisp with a ton of streusel topping.
Love streusel topping.
There's just like nothing feels more like fall to me.
No.
Than a good apple crisp with a little bit of ice cream on it.
Oh, I have whipped cream, sorry.
Listen, I'll survive.
Let me think. What do I want to do my next one? I do really like, okay, I feel like mine are like very specific.
Like the recipe I cook.
Well, like, so I have caramel apple cinnamon. I've had this a few different times, but it was like a pecan pie cheesecake.
Oh, I hate you.
It was so good. Because I love pecan pie, but like I also love cheesecake. So to put them together, oh, my mouth's watering.
I love pecan pie. Like it is.
You say pecan?
I've panicked. I want you to know pecan.
I say pecan. Dances
pecan.
I
say pecan a lot.
You say pecan?
Yeah, or pecan.
Pecan. I don't know if the correct is, but I've always said
pecan.
No, I can't say it.
I know we're gonna say it too many times. It's gonna also
pecan pie.
I think I cut the E a little on pecan. Sorry.
Dan does it like fast, like con, and I'm like, you can't even hear the puff part.
Con pie.
Con pie. Pecan. I'll take pecan over pecan.
Okay, well, sorry. Anyways,
okay, sorry.
Panicked, right? Pecan pie.
Isn't there like a different way you can say it too? Like pecan, pecan pie.
Oh, God. Okay, Lord, what are you gonna do? All right. my next one is not going to be something for you because you really don't care for pumpkin. But pumpkin bars with a cheese, like a cream cheese,
Like filling?
frosting
Oh,
filling. There is something.
You can put cream cheese frosting on literally anything. I'll eat a pumpkin bar just for the cream cheese frosting.
Oh, it's so
and
good.
I don't like pumpkin, but like, how do you say no?
Oh, there's like, it just fills me with love.
Ugh. That's so good.
Oh, all right, Hannah, last pick.
That's so hard. I feel like
Pretty
I
hard.
have to do so. Like our family is quite. It's like we're not as big as some families, but I would say we're like the cap of like we have a ton of people, but we still all get together regularly.
Right.
Like if we had more people than what we had, we wouldn't be able to get together as regularly. So we have a lot of people. And for Thanksgiving, we always have like a million pies.
Yep.
Like the whole table is full of like pie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I need to pick a pie. But I love pie.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like nothing beats our grandma's apple pie.
Yeah.
Like it's just so it's her crust.
Oh, her lard crust.
Like
that I've tried so hard to make.
She can make it so thin without it breaking. I don't know how. I feel like she somehow mastered her filling not being very runny.
No.
And so then her crust can be thinner. And like she puts the sugar on the top.
It's flaky.
It's so good.
It's almost like a biscuit kind of dough, like that kind of flake.
But buttery, flaky crust.
like that commercial with that old guy.
Yes, and he couldn't say
buttery crispy.
Flaky.
Flaky Dan.
But her crust, literally, like buttery, flaky crust, like
like
it's so good.
Buy it that good.
No, and she doesn't pre-bake it. That's what I don't get. Is I can't get a crust that's isn't like soggy on the bottom without pre-baking it.
You get a soggy bottom.
A pitiful soggy bottom.
Love. GBBO.
Yeah, I feel like I have to go apple pie. I know what I already had caramel apple cinnamon roll, so I was trying to think of something not apple, but I feel like I have to take apple pie.
You're the worst. It's fine though.
But I'm also picky about I don't like other people's apple pie.
I don't like a thick crust on apple pie.
I don't like a thick crust on any pie. If it has a thick crust, count me out.
Too much crust. I need more filling.
Yeah.
I love a fruit pie though.
I love like strawberry rhubarb. That's not really fall, but we still make it for Thanksgiving.
Oh, I know. Oh, my brain immediately went to peach cobbler, but I feel like peach cobbler is definitely more of like a spring, summer.
It's definitely summer, but it's still good.
Still good, but that's not my fall. God, you took my apple pie. I was like, I'm sure she'll say it, but I'm over here hoping she doesn't.
It's so
and
good.
I have nothing against. I like pumpkin pie, but I think like out of the three pies, you know, like apple, pecan, and pumpkin. Pumpkin's definitely my third.
Oh yeah.
Out of those three,
no question.
I feel like I can't say pumpkin. Oh no! Oh, I don't do them very often, but I love them every time I do them. Just a plain old caramel apple.
Oh yes, I do like caramel apples.
It just hits right every time. It never misses. I'm not even candied apples though.
No, do not like candied apples, but I love caramel apples. Or just like even the slices, dip it in some caramel.
Fuck me up.
Love a caramel apple. And cider. Have you ever made like cider cake, apple cider cake, or like apple cider cookie, whatever? Ugh.
I just saw a recipe for a cake that I'm thinking about making next weekend. It is an apple cider and bourbon.
Ooh.
Cake.
That sounds good. I love like anything. I don't like pumpkin, so any like apple cinnamon, apple whatever, count me in.
I'm there for it.
An apple beach.
I love apples. Oh, good cider. Hot tip for you: instead of orange juice and champagne for a mimosa, do apple cider and champagne. Oh, it's so good. You can still do a splash of orange juice if you want. It tastes okay, but like, it's so good.
That sounds good.
Talk about Wisconsinites. Here we are talking about like apple bourbon cake instead of this mimosa.
Well, like I love whenever we go out and like a local distillery has apple pie vodka, I'll always make an apple pie mule.
They're so good.
So good.
Good Lord. Here we are. You know, fall is leading us into drinking season. So
You gotta stay warm over the winter.
all over these Wisconsin winters. Good Lord. I almost choked at myself. All right. Well, that was our fun little
That's
tangent
good.
for you. Because I was like, I didn't really have any absolutely nots that I wanted to go. I mean, listen, I always got absolutely nots. But I was like thinking, we're doing a little bit of a get together with Claire.
Mhm.
And if you
Featured on the Flurry Sports podcast.
She does a great job. So if you want to go back and listen to her, she nails it. But we're all hanging out together and doing these like appetizers and desserts. And I am like
all in.
I'm hurting myself a little bit on this Pinterest page because I'm like, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good.
Hey, we should try this. That looks good.
I'm like, good Lord. By the time I get there, I'm gonna be bringing a cart with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Well, if you like what you hear, definitely follow us on X, Instagram, Threads at I don't think so _EH. And we hope to see you guys next week. Bye.